Hey, how's it going, guys? I am the Cyclist Vlogger, and today I'm going to do a bit of a combined show because it's been such a long time. Um, Basically, it's going to be the news over the past few weeks, and it's also going to be like a bit of me telling you what's been going on. So, since there hasn't been much racing going on since Richmond, I'm there isn't really that much to talk about, so I combined it over a few weeks. So I'll start off with that first. So there was the Euro Metropolitan Tour, where Alex Gouard won the prologue and basically just held it for the entire time. Um, and the original gap he got in the prologue, he held, which was the 7 seconds, and he held it over Martin Kaiser and Jürgen Rolandis. And then the Masterlando duo, Tom Boonen took out the sprint. I think he really proved his sprinting capabilities, even though he had some doubts throughout the season. The Italian race of Milan Torano, Diego Rosa won by 16 seconds over Rafael Majka and Fabio Aru, which I was pretty impressed by. He's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with for next year. The Tour of China, stage one, was won overall by Daniel Collet. Um, there was a bunch of basically just sprint wins by some local Chinese sprinters, and also by one Australian. I've forgotten who that was, but there it is. Neil van der Ploeg um, took the overall lead at one point in stage three, um, and then he held it for a little bit, but then he couldn't hold it very well because he couldn't challenge most of the main sprinters towards the end. Um, but yeah, Neil van der Ploeg did pretty well for his for Avanti Racing. Il Lombardie was one of the main races that I actually watched over the last couple of weeks. It was won by Vincenzo Nibali for the last classic of the season with an attack on the final climb, and he managed to get a decent lead before the finish. He was followed by Daniel Marino too late, about 3 seconds back, and Thibaut Pinot was in third. I was quite impressed by Vincenzo. Um, he didn't impress me too much throughout the season, but in Il Lombardie he did pretty well. So he's probably going to be a force to be reckoned with for the next season's classics. Paris Bourges, Sam Bennett won the French Classic in a sprint to the line over Nasser Bouhanni and Giacomo Nizzolo. And the tour I'm most excited about for this year is the Abu Dhabi tour. I was really impressed with the organization of this tour. Um, it was just really just some of the best riding Abu Dhabi could produce. The first stage of the tour was held on the F1 circuit at Yas Marina and was fought out in a sprint to the end, won by Andrea Gudani, followed by Tom Boonen. The second stage was again a sprint to the end, won by Ilya Viviani over Peter Sagan, and Viviani took the overall lead then. Esteban Savage won the main stage of the tour in a single band break of 12, with 12 seconds back to Fabio Aru and a further 21 back to Wout Poels, and that made Chavez take the overall lead over Aru by 16 seconds. In the final stage, Eliana Viviani won this sprint again with Peter Sagan right behind him. And then Esteban Savage won the tour overall with 16 seconds to spare. So I was pretty impressed with Esteban Savage and just the overall thing of the Abu Dhabi tour. This video, by the way, was taken a couple weeks ago. It's a bit wet. That was the first wet ride that I've done in a while. It's a bit blurry at the moment, but it gets better soon. It was a Tuesday morning team ride. Well, not really a team ride. It's called what we do Tuesday morning, where we kind of do a sprint around town. It's really brilliant. And we just take off from every lights, and it's just really good. Currently, sitting in front of me, I think, is Tommy D. I'll probably go back. Yeah, that's Tommy D. He's got the blue giant. Paris Tours, Matteo Trentin, Tosh van der Sande and Greg Van Avermaet managed a three-man break of 20 seconds, with Trentin winning the sprint over Van der Sar and Van Avermaet a few seconds back. And the last two topics are the Giro d'Italia course for 2016 and the London 2017 Tour de France Grand Depart. So the Giro course was announced for the 99th running of the event. It has an incredible 3 individual time trials, with one of them being a climb for 10 kilometers, giving a glimpse into the older tours that have done that in the 60s and 70s. It seems to be a pretty even tour for sprinters and climbers, although there are more mountainous stages towards the end, so they may favour the climbers. The winner of the Giro for next year will have to be a pretty good all-rounder rider, but might not necessarily have to have a strong team. I think Aru, Dumoulin, or Chavez will be in with a good shot if they do decide to do the Giro next year. I mostly chose Dumoulin because of his performance in the Tour of Spain this year, how he really challenged all the main competitors up the hills, even though he isn't really that much of a climber himself. But the time trials for him will definitely help, besides from obviously the 10-kilometer hill climb. That hill climb, I reckon, is probably going to be one of the best stages of next year, although the courses haven't been announced for next year for the other races, so there could be one that trumps that. But that's definitely going to probably be the best stage of that tour. The London 2017 Tour de France Grand Depart has basically Boris Johnson has brushed off having the 2017 Tour de France in London, despite the large amounts of economic boost this will give the city. Johnson basically said that he doesn't think it will benefit the city of London. He may have a point to this, considering the last time that London held the Grand Depart was in 2007, and the last time it was in the United Kingdom was 2014. Still, there's no design this will bring a boost to the city. So that's the end of the scripted kind of bit that I wrote up for the last couple of weeks. This video is still pretty blurry. I apologize for that, but I haven't really been able to get out too much because I've started back at school and assessment is pretty awful. This was taken during the holidays. It was the first wet ride and it was pretty dodgy at some points. I was going through oh look, this is the final stretch of road we're on right now. It was pretty dodgy at some points. We were there's some roundabouts back further before I started recording where everyone was just slipping up around the corners. So there's just like lots of oil and grease on the road, so it's pretty scary at some points. But yeah, basically this is what we do on Tuesday mornings, and it's just a full out sprint around town. And there's a one group that goes off at 5 o'clock, then one at 5:01, and another one at 5:02. And we all end up together around this street here, so we end up catching everyone else. And then there's basically a full out sprint to the end. We didn't go full out this morning because it was wet, obviously, so we didn't have that much of a chance. So it's the off season now currently for Townsville Cycling, and they've gone into the velodrome season, and I don't do velodrome, so I'm not doing any more. I'm definitely not doing any more cycling. I don't like velodrome. I'm just scared of it. I have lots of respect for people that do velodrome racing. You just have fixed gear and it's just no brakes, and I'm just can't do that, eh? But anyway, oh look there, it's cleared up now. Now you can see the back of Tommy a bit. I was running 28ers that day, so everyone behind me was getting pretty sick of getting wet. Yeah, so it's the off season. I've changed a few things around on my bike. I put a new pedal, new seat post, and a new actual seat on there. I'm considering getting new wheels or new kit. I'm not sure yet. The kit I'm probably going to get a Pedal Mafia kit, which is blue, which matches the rest of my kit basically. I got new helmets and new sunglasses. I got the Solis 004. And I got the Specialized Papero 2. So, and they're really good. I love the Papero. It feels like you're not even wearing it because it's really well vented, but it's not like your hair's gonna like come out the back of the helmet that it's that well vented. But it just feels really good, and it's incredibly light. But yeah, and then the Solis sunglasses are really good as well. They are incredibly light and they have the interchangeable lenses, so it's got all the right stuff. And they're blue, so it matches the rest of my kit. I think going past there now, just past me, I think that was Jarrett. But yeah, I'm still sitting behind Tommy D. We just roll off the front. Currently, yep, here we go. I'm just gonna roll up beside Tommy. Oh look, yeah, this is when we got to the front. I think that's Stokesy just in front of me. Oh no, no. So don't know who that is. But anyway, so it's off season, so I'm not doing much. I'll probably do some decent rides soon, and I'll be able to record some decent stuff for you. So that's all for me now. I'm the Cyclist Vlogger, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.